The development of press under British rule. So in this topic we will study about the development of Indian press, then we will study about the censorship of the Press Act 1799, then Licensing Regulation Act of 1823, then Press Act of 1835 or Metcalfe Act, and then we will study about the Vernacular Press Act of 1878. Okay, so let's start with the development of Indian press. So the press played a key role in the dissemination of information and connecting leaders with people. Okay, so press was very important because it connected the masses with the leaders, because mainly the press was owned by the nationalistic leaders. So that's why the nationalist leaders used to spread this information, the national information about the national movement, using this newspapers. So that's why the newspaper or the press was very important in the national movement, and many leaders had their own publications, but they were not for profit making purpose. So remember this, newspapers were not for profit making, but it was used for dissemination of information. So during the reign of the British Empire, there were several acts passed as stringent curbs over the Indian press. Okay, so for curbing the freedom of press, lot of stringent acts were passed by the British government. So prior to the rumblings of 1857 mutiny, the press was fiercely involved in rallying the masses, and inevitably the British government was increasingly becoming apprehensive about the press freedom. Okay, so through the newspapers, a nationalistic rebellion was slowly being pieced together through words and symbols. Remember this. So what was the censorship of the Press Act 1799? So Lord Wellesley imposed a severe censorship on all newspapers. The censorship of the Press Act 1799 imposed almost wartime restrictions on the press. The regulations required the newspaper was to clearly print in every issue the name of the printer, the editor and the proprietor. So this was made compulsory under the censorship of the Press Act 1799, through which a print in every issue, so that is the newspaper was to clearly print in every issue the name of the printer, that is who is printing this newspaper, then who is the editor of this newspaper and who is the proprietor of this newspaper. So these three things were made compulsory to print on the newspaper. So the publisher was to submit all material for pre-censorship to the secretary to the government. So it was made compulsory, the publisher was to submit all material for pre-censorship to the secretary to the government. That means before you publish anything, you will have to take permission from the government for publishing it. This is called pre-censorship. Then the breach of these rules was punishable with immediate deportation. So this was punishment which was, that is immediate deportation. Then in 1807 the Censorship Act was extended to cover journals and pamphlets and even some books also. So the relaxation of press restrictions came under Lord Hastings. Okay, so this was the censorship of a Press Act. You can pause the lesson and you can write it down in your copy. Try to jot down important points in your copy and memorize them. Then came the Licensing Regulation Act of 1823, and the acting Governor General John Adams, who had reactionary views, enacted this. So according to these regulations, starting or using a press without license was considered to be a penal offense. That means you will have to have a license, okay, to start a press. Okay, These restrictions were directed chiefly against the Indian language newspapers, that is vernacular newspapers, or those edited by the Indians. And Raja Ram Mohan Roy's Mirat ul Akbar had to stop publication under this Licensing Regulation Act of 1823. And then came the Press Act of 1835, or it is also called as Metcalfe Act. Okay, so Metcalfe, Governor General of India during 1835 to 36, repealed the obnoxious 1823 ordinance and earned the epithet Liberator of the Indian Press. So remember, Lord Metcalfe is also called as Liberator of the Indian Press. So the new Press Act of 1835 required a printer or publisher to give a precise account of premises of a publication and cease functioning if required by a similar declaration. That is, you will have to give a precise account of premises of a publication. So this was made compulsory under the new Press Act of 1835. The result of a liberal press policy was a rapid growth of newspapers. Because of Lord Metcalfe, who is also called as the Liberator of Indian Press, a lot of newspapers started to be published by the leaders. So Charles Metcalfe, he is also called as the Liberator of the Indian Press, remember. Then came the Vernacular Press Act of 1878. Now, Vernacular Press Act was mainly directed towards the newspapers which were published in Indian languages, that is the native languages. So a bitter legacy of 1857 revolt was the racial bitterness between the ruler and the ruled. After 1858, the European press always rallied behind the government in political controversies, while the vernacular press was critical of the government. Okay, so there was a strong public opinion against the imperialistic policies of Lytton, which was compounded by terrible famine, that is 1876-77 on one hand, and lavish expenditure on the imperial Delhi Darbar on the other. So there was a strong public opinion against the imperialistic policies of Lord Lytton, and that time there was a famine in 1876-77 on one hand, and government was spending lavishly on the imperial Delhi Darbar. So the Indian press was very critical about this. So the Vernacular Press Act was designed to better control the vernacular press and effectively punish and repress seditious writing. So at that time, lot of Indian newspapers started to write against this behavior of the British government. So that time the Vernacular Press Act was passed, and it was designed to better control. So it was said that it is designed to better control the vernacular press and effectively punish and repress the seditious writing, those who were writing against the British government. So the act came to be nicknamed as a Gagging Act. Okay, and the worst feature of this act were discrimination between English and vernacular press. It clearly discriminated against the English and vernacular press, and there was no right to appeal against the decision. Okay, so these were the two important things. It was only against the English, because the name itself says that vernacular means the native languages, the Indian languages. Okay, so it was a clear discrimination against the vernacular newspapers, and secondly there was no right to appeal against this decision. Okay, so under Vernacular Press Act proceedings, were instituted against Soma Prakash, the newspaper. Okay, then Bharat Mihir, then Dhaka Prakash and Samachar. So against this newspapers the proceedings were initiated, and incidentally the Amrit Bazar Patrika turned overnight into an English newspaper to escape the Vernacular Press Act. So Amrit Bazar Patrika, this newspaper became a vernacular newspaper overnight to evade the Vernacular Press Act of 1878, because the Vernacular Press Act was mainly targeting towards the Indian newspapers only. So to evade this act, to evade this law, Amrit Bazar Patrika became overnight a English newspaper. So remember, this may be a question in our exam. So later the pre-censorship clause was repealed and a press commissioner was appointed to supply authentic and accurate news to the press. Okay, so there was a strong opposition to the act, and finally Ripon repealed it in 1882. Remember this. So this Vernacular Press Act is very important. So that's all about the development of Indian newspapers or the development of Indian press. So in our next lesson we will study about the civil and tribal uprisings. Okay.